It's probably no surprise for you all, but pandemics don't hit all communities equally. A new report by Politico explains how minorities are suffering from discrimination, even during a pandemic. According to Politico, Black and brown American communities are being heavily affected by the spread of coronavirus in the U.S. On top of that, not enough information on the spread in these communities is being collected, affecting efforts to ameliorate the situation. 5 Floridian counties stated that African American and Latino patients infected with coronavirus are being hospitalized and at times even dying at faster rates than white patients. According to a statement from Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards, a little more than 70% of COVID-19 deaths in the state were from African American patients. However, not all information related to the testing and treatment of these minorities is being released, making it difficult for authorities to provide proper help to curtail the spread of the virus in these communities. Also, fewer individuals belonging to these groups have access to health insurance, further exacerbating the lack of information. Moreover, data collected by doctors at the Universities of Virginia and Pittsburgh in collaboration with data tracking firm Rubix indicate that although thousands of individuals belonging to these minorities presented symptoms of coronavirus, they were not receiving testing. But wait, there's more. Some states aren't even recording ethnic data whatsoever. Examples of this are South Dakota and Nebraska, which ironically are states that have some of the highest numbers of COVID-19 cases registered. It's important to remember that it's not just the lack of data that's aggravating the spread of COVID-19 in minorities. This is a byproduct of socioeconomic inequality. Government data shows that poverty and unemployment rates are higher in minority communities. This lack of income is reflected on the health of African American and Hispanic groups in the U.S. Truth of the matter is that minorities don't have the same access to health care and suffer from higher rates of lifestyle-related health conditions like asthma, obesity, and diabetes that makes them more vulnerable to coronavirus. So what do U.S. authorities have to say about the lack of information on the effects of COVID-19 on minorities? Well, another report by Politico quotes a spokesperson for the CDC as saying, quote, "We are exploring using other avenues to supplement this information when possible." Meanwhile, in other countries, there's almost too much data being collected. Keeping the coronavirus at bay is priority number one for China now that many cities are coming out of lockdown. But could the coronavirus just be an excuse for China and many other countries to become more Orwellian? Well, take a look at the mobile health system China is now implementing to track its citizens. According to a report from CNN, apps from Chinese tech giants Alibaba and Tencent will now host a new health code system that uses QR codes to indicate the health status of citizens. This is part of an effort to contain the spread of coronavirus now that businesses are reopening in the country. Alipay launched the new system on February 11th. Chinese nationals have to input their national identity number or passport number along with their phone number into the system. Citizens also have to share their travel history and list what symptoms they may be experiencing. After the information is officially verified, citizens are assigned a colored QR code depending on their health status. Green QR codes mean you're safe, yellow QR codes mean you came in contact with a sick person, and red means you cannot go out in public. Several businesses in China are now placing QR codes outside their venues so clients and customers can scan and show their health status codes to employees before entering a business. Oh, and how many people are under this system? Well, according to state-run Science and Technology Daily, Tencent's health code system has been in use in more than 300 cities since March. To be fair, China is not the only country that's tracking its citizens amid this pandemic. According to a report published in The Guardian on March 6th, people in South Korea were receiving texts with information about the whereabouts of people that had tested positive for the virus. The texts were eerily specific and honestly too revealing of people's personal lives. For example, one man and his secretary were being scrutinized after it was revealed that both had tested positive for the virus after they both returned from a trip to Wuhan. According to ZDNet, the UK is also turning to technology to control the spread of the coronavirus. British authorities have confirmed that their National Health Service is developing a voluntary contact tracing app to help curtail the spread of the virus. We all knew this was coming, the whole blatant civilian data mining we mean. It was a matter of when rather than if. What do you think, Tomo Sapiens? Is all this privacy invasion going to stick around even during post-pandemic days? Let us know what you think down below. Also, this happens when you buy coronavirus test kits from Chinese companies, even when you try to do it the right way.
The embarrassed UK government right now is scrambling for a refund after gambling on $20 million worth of Chinese-made coronavirus testing kits that did not work. According to the New York Times, the two Chinese companies were offering a risky proposition: 2 million home test kits said to detect coronavirus antibodies for at least $20 million. Take it or leave it. So, the asking price was high, the technology was unproven, and the money had to be paid up front. Furthermore, the buyer would be required to pick up the crate loads of test kits from a facility in China. Despite the risk, Downing Street, desperate to get a handle on the forever climbing case numbers in the UK, gambled and handed over the cash to both All Test Biotech and Wanfo Biotech, the two Chinese companies in question, both of which claim that their products met the health, safety and environmental standards set by the European Union. Whilst public health officials reviewed the specifications on paper, diplomats were dispatched in China to ensure the companies existed and to examine their products firsthand. Tragically, the gamble backfired as the tests said to detect antibodies for coronavirus did not work, according to a senior civil servant. Finding antibody tests that work is seen as a critical stage in the battle against the coronavirus. So, what did the two companies say? Well, in typical fashion, after officials complained about the dud tests, both Chinese companies instead blamed British officials and politicians for misunderstanding or exaggerating the utility of the tests, a method of deniability that seems to be commonplace under the CCP. They took it further with Wanfo, one of the companies telling CCP mouthpiece Global Times that its product was intended only as a supplement for patients who had already tested positive for the virus. And All Test, the other company, said in a statement on its website that the tests were only used by professionals, not by patients at home. The UK's Amateur Hour exposes how vulnerable and how desperate they are to win the war on the coronavirus, as all nations are.
For more news animations and explainers, hit the subscribe and bell button to join the TomoNews family. Thanks for watching.